How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its excellent summer sale right now, and I want to highlight the best deals available under $10. A lot of good stuff, and this is, again, barely scratching the surface, and there's a lot more stuff available, but let's get right into it, and let's get started with what I think may possibly be the best deal across this entire sale. It is Borderlands Legendary Collection, 80% off for $9.99. It is so bewildering to me how this deal is running right now, because they also decided to discount Borderlands the Handsome Collection. That's at $9.99, and then Borderlands Remastered, I forget what exactly they call it, like the Game of the Year edition or whatever, is also at $9.99. You guys, the Legendary Collection includes all of that, so you get the Handsome Collection, you get Borderlands Remastered, it's $9.99. I'm like, is this a price error? Like, what's going on here? But whatever, even if it is a price error, go grab it if you don't have Borderlands Handsome Collection or Borderlands Remastered. The games are great, and really, to me, showcases Borderlands at its peak. I mean, Borderlands 1 I thought was fantastic. I remember playing that back in 2009 and absolutely loving it. And then I thought they built upon it quite nicely with Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2, to me, found the right mix of comedy, had a good story, an overarching story throughout the entirety of the game, and the gameplay, obviously, was a ton of fun. You know, and to get pre-sequel as well with all of the DLC content, or the majority of the DLC content when it comes to Borderlands 2, it is a ridiculous value proposition, and I would strongly recommend this, so definitely give that a look. I also thought, yo, let's give Borderlands 3 a mention. Next Level Edition for $6.99 is a great deal. Now, I have been pretty transparent with my thoughts on Borderlands 3. I don't love the game. Do I think it's pretty good? Yeah, like, Borderlands is gonna be a franchise that I feel like you can always have fun with. I don't want to compare it to COD, but COD for me is like that as well at this point, where, like, even if I think the franchise is redundant and I didn't like certain games, it's always mindless fun to me. And Borderlands 3, to me, I can still appreciate it as that mindless fun. And for $6.99, I do think that's a pretty good deal, and I would give it a shout at this price point. Obviously, this is not all of the content. If you want all of the content, you can check out the Super Deluxe Edition or the Ultimate Edition. The Ultimate Edition includes 2 season passes, whereas the Super Deluxe includes 1 season pass, so you know, take that for what you will, but $6.99 on Borderlands 3. Tales of Arise, we have that for 75% off for $9.99. This is a great JRPG. I really did enjoy it. Did I think it was the best Tales of game? No. I think from a character standpoint, it doesn't have the best cast of characters in comparison to an Abyss of Vesperia. The characters are still decent enough, and narratively, Tales of Arise very much goes the route of save the world through the power of friendship type trope, which is fine. Like, sometimes you want something like that out of a JRPG, and you know what? I thought Arise executed it fairly well. $9.99 is a pretty good deal. They did do an expansion, Beyond the Dawn. That was, let's just say, not fantastic. If you, for whatever reason, really like the characters of Tales of Arise, and you want to get more out of it, and you want to see their interactions a little bit more, Beyond the Dawn will give you that, but it just seemed very thrown together. That's just my 2 cents. But $9.99 on the base game is great. Beyond the Dawn still goes for a hefty penny, so I certainly would not be picking that up right now. Resident Evil 2, the remake, 75% off for $9.99. RE2 Remake really kicked off the train, the hype train, so to speak, for these Resident Evil remakes. And it was really the second major home run release to revitalize Resident Evil after the release of Biohazard. They dropped RE2, I believe, 2 years later, and RE2 was absolutely fantastic. And I'm not somebody that has a nostalgic attachment towards Resident Evil 2, a little bit before my time, but still had a remarkable experience. The visuals are great. You got a PS5 upgrade in there as well. It's not getting much cheaper than $9.99, so at this point, I would just say pick it up. Also, do want to give a shout to Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 bundle, $7.49, so $3.75 for each of these. I think that's a damn good deal. I often talk about how I think Resident Evil Revelations 1 in particular is one of the most underrated Resident Evil games. It is a great survival horror action game, and Revelations 2, it's not blowaway, but you know, it was more of an episodic experience, and just, they tried some different things with Revelations 2. I wasn't blown away by it, but I thought it was a fine game. Just do keep your expectations in line. Revelations 1 was a 3DS remaster, so, you know, it initially dropped on the 3DS, then they remastered it to other platforms. Revelations 2 isn't a home run, but $7.49 for both those games I think is really good. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition, 75% off for $9.99. I mean, it's Elder Scrolls V. It's one of the most iconic video games of all time. It is a legitimately tremendous this game in my opinion. I talked to some of my buddies that were really into Elder Scrolls with Morrowind, and they played Oblivion as well, and I guess some people seem to think Skyrim was too simplified, it was too accessible, etc, etc. I don't know, for me, that's more of an RPG up my alley. I wasn't crazy about Morrowind, and that's a game that I circled back and played, but I love Skyrim, and obviously, the best place to play Skyrim is on PC with everything you can do with the game, but if you're only playing on consoles, it's still a great time on consoles, and it runs well on the PS5, just a great deal. And Skyrim's an absolutely iconic game. It really does represent the glory days of Bethesda. To me personally, I feel like they've been absolutely washed for the last 8 or so years. You know, Starfield was fairly mid. Elder Scrolls 6 probably not going to come out until we're fossilized. So, like, you know, they're not doing a lot of great work these days, in my opinion. But Skyrim, man, what a great game, and it still holds up fairly well. I mean, it's not going to blow you away from a technical standpoint, but exploring the world is still a great time, so definitely check that out. Want to give a shout out to My Hero 1's Justice 2. Think My Hero 1's Justice 2 is a really solid arena fighter. Obviously, this is for fans of My Hero Academia, and given that the anime has quite a bit of traction, seems like people are really enjoying Season 7, felt this was worth a mention. Super flashy, and if you're a fan, you're gonna have a good time with it, and if you like the Naruto Storm style games, you'll like My Hero 1's Justice 2 as well at this price point. Metro Exodus Gold Edition is 85% off for $5.99. Now, if you don't own any of the Metro games, the Metro Saga Bundle is always going to be the route to go, but some of you guys own 2033 and Last Light, and you just want to check out Metro Exodus with the DLC, the Gold Edition is a great pickup. It is the Metro game I personally enjoyed the least. I still really liked it. I thought from a visual and atmosphere standpoint, it was still remarkable. Some of the world design I wasn't crazy about, but I still think it's a worthwhile pickup, especially at $5.99. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Definitely do give it a shout after 2033 and Last Light. Couple of Assassin's Creed games, always seemingly gotta mention these. AC Syndicate, 70% off for $8.99. Think it's a super underrated Assassin's Creed game. It was the last Assassin's Creed game before the shift to the new style of Assassin's Creed, which you guys know I'm not all too crazy about. But Syndicate, I thought was a really well done game. Enjoyed the traversal, enjoyed the exploration. Story I thought was pretty good, and I like the cast of characters as well. Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered is 70% off for $8.99 as well. This is another underrated Assassin's Creed game because this came out back in 2014, and Ubisoft was really going all in with Assassin's Creed at that point, and they decided to release 2 Assassin's Creed games that year on the same day, which, in retrospect, I don't know how smart of an idea that was, but Rogue was created for the PlayStation 3 and 360 at the time, and you also had Assassin's Creed Unity that year. Rogue ended up being, in my opinion, the better game. I gotta go back and play Unity again, but Rogue, I ended up really enjoying. A great main character. The naval combat was well done. Just overall, a really solid game, which is one that sometimes gets forgotten about because of its release structure, but for $9, definitely give this a look, especially if you like the older Assassin's Creed games. Order 1886, 50% off for $9.99. What an incredible world and an IP that was in its foundational stages and the foundational layers to what it could have evolved into, being set with Order 1886. This is a game that, from a premise standpoint, it was remarkable. From a visual standpoint, it was remarkable. However, it is a game that had its shortcomings. It was a 5 to 6 hour game and it was priced at $60. Yeah, that's gonna be a dicey proposition. If you're getting this game, just go into it knowing that it's a very short game, and I think with the gaming landscape these days, we're playing a lot of 80-hour games. We're playing a lot of RPGs. We got crazy backlogs. Sometimes it's nice to have a game like this that is still compelling enough to sit down, play through it in one sitting, and then, you know, you'll probably have a pretty good time. And those visuals still look remarkable 9.5 years later. By the end of it, you are gonna come to the sad realization that we're never gonna get a sequel, which is a little bit of a bummer, but what can you do? These things happen in gaming, so, you know, it is what it is. I would like Order to get down to $4.99 because I think at $4.99 it would be a remarkable pickup. At $9.99 it's still okay, and I would still give it a shout. A Way Out, 80% off for $5.99. Really solid co-op title, narrative-driven, good twists and turns. Had a good time with it. Obviously, you're gonna need a friend to play the game with, and you know, if you're looking for something co-op oriented, A Way Out is a great option. The studio Hazelight also did do It Takes Two, which is generally considered to be the better game, but I really liked A Way Out, and I would say for $5.99, it's a really good pickup. And lastly, Catherine Full Body Edition is 80% off for $7.99. Really had a great time with Catherine Full Body Edition. Catherine is a game that I played back when it came out on the PlayStation 3, and I had a great time with it back then. Full Body adds a new route and some new content. The issue was, I thought the $50 price point right out the gate was a little bit too much for a game like Catherine. Like, if you go back and ask me in, I believe it was 2012 or 2011 when Catherine came out, that game for $60 was already a little bit too much, let's just put it that way. But at $8, if you're looking for something a little bit more quirky, a little bit more zany, and you like more narrative-driven titles, the puzzle gameplay is pretty well done, and that's from somebody that hates puzzle games. But, you know, you can just breeze through that if you do want to just play it more as a narrative-driven title. $8, I think, is a great price, and I would definitely give that a look. And, you know, it might push some people away. They might be like, what is this, like, you know, puzzle dating sim style game? Not even a dating sim, just really more so a game with branching pathways. For $7.99, I think this is a really good pickup, and if you're open to something a little bit more quirky and zany, I think you'll have a good time with it. But that'll do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals under the price of $10. As always, links to all of these deals will be in the description box below. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.